Hey, if you look up Jem's Art Studio, they have this beautiful Ukrainian sunflower. It's absolutely worth checking out. All the profits are going to go to help Ukrainian charity, so please check it out. It'll be great. All the links will be below in the description and probably here in the picture. But yeah, go help them out. Ukrainians are going through hell right now.
This Organized Chaos video is brought to you by Jem's Art Studio. Jem's Art Studio is an online store that allows access to prints that you can use for most anything, obviously as just a picture, or as a wallpaper, or as a bookmark, or anything you can think of. You can find Jem's Art Studio at etsy.com/shop/Jem's Art Studio. This video is also brought to you by viewers like you. Thank you.
Hello again. This is just going to be kind of more of a standard episode. We're going to do another Ben Shapiro. I guess we kind of did a Ben Shapiro last time. God, his stuff all sucks. But this time, we're going to go into Ben Shapiro and his goddamn Brie Larson video. Brie Larson I brought up a few times, mainly because she's invented a whole fucking genre on YouTube that is some of the most unwatchable shit ever. I was in the movie YouTube community essentially when Brie Larson became a thing. And it was totally obnoxious. I brought up before how I've thought about doing a parody Brie Larson video. But I used to watch movie YouTubers fairly regularly. And there's so many of them I just stopped because they just started doing Brie Larson shit. And I realized how dumb it was. Because the whole Brie Larson thing was essentially spawned from her doing interview, I believe it was an interview, where she said she refuses to be interviewed by white people and only wants to be interviewed by people of color or women or any sort of minority group. And the internet blew up at this like it was the worst thing in the world. I simply look at this as if this is it's well-intentioned. One of the problems is when it comes to like movie critique and movie stuff, it's going to be a lot of white guys. And it's a systematic problem. So I'm going to say something that's actually going to sound kind of racist, but I'm going to need you to bear with me. Because it's true. When it comes to taking risk in the United States, white guys are more likely to take a risk. They're more likely to put themselves out there. Now, it doesn't mean their opinions are better or that they're braver or anything like that. It just means they're more likely to. And the reason for this is actually rather simple. Because society has less consequences for white guys. People of color, minority groups, women, their society already puts a lot of pressure on them to do certain things. White guys have less pressure to do certain things and therefore have more of a freedom to express themselves. And something like movie reviews and stuff like that, that's a tough game to get into. You don't usually just get hired for that. You usually have to push for it. You have to start your own thing. You have to really try to get yourself out there. It's something white guys are more likely to do. Just statistically. This is just a fact. So when she says she only wants to be interviewed by people of minorities, I don't have an issue with it, but really cuts down her pool of people she can talk to, which is fine. If she's fine with that, okay, cool, more power to her. In a lot of ways, maybe it will help encourage more people to rise up. Probably not really. It's a good idea, but I don't see it resulting in anything, but it's like, her heart's in the right place. But anyways, everybody blew up at her because she's racist against white people. Just because she would like to see more people of color in these pools. It's like, I get what she's going for. I don't think she's going to accomplish it. I don't even think she's going to make a dent. I don't think she's going to see any movement because you're dealing with a systematic issue. We need to deal with it at the roots, not just do this surface level stuff. But you know what? Her heart's in the right place. But of course, everybody blew up at her. So let's see what Ben Shapiro has to say about Brie Larson.
This is the beautiful thing about the woke narrative. If you say, hey, wait a second, you don't have any evidence that America is a terribly bigoted, homophobic, racist, sexist place. You don't have any evidence that America is a terrible place or that it requires the solutions of full-on socialists. Then the left will say, well, that's because your eyes have not been opened, because you don't see the truth.
Well, no, it won't be that your eyes haven't been opened because you haven't seen the truth. It's that you're probably in a bubble and you're not looking at the actual news articles that are coming out. Listen, I think one of the greatest things about the U.S. is our ability to evolve. This country can evolve and become better because it does have a lot of problems. If you don't, I wonder when this might have been done before George Floyd. Brie Larson, that's when that took off. But yeah, if you're going to make this argument now, maybe you get away with it back then. If you're going to make the argument that we're all treated equal now, you're insane. Because it's been proven that, well, we see clearly black people are killed by the cops disproportionately to white people. There is white privilege. It is very much a thing. And it's not saying there aren't black people in a better place than white people, but it's saying as a general rule, if you're white, you will have certain privileges afforded to you that you may not get. If I get pulled over by the cops, the odds of me getting killed are very low. Now, the odds of a black person getting killed are low, but they're not as low, not remotely as low. The chance of me getting killed by the cops are almost nothing. The chance of a black person getting killed by the cops, quite a bit higher than it should be. These are just facts. And if you're just going to dismiss them like this, then you're just fooling yourself. You're lying.
But once you see the truth, you can't unsee the truth. And this is how you end up with the ridiculous spectacle, the ridiculous, insane spectacle of Brie Larson, an actress who does not know things, speaking at the Women in Film Festival about her new movie, Captain Marvel. Now, the execs over at Disney have just got to be beside themselves, because it turns out that a lot of the people who like to go watch comic book movies are young men. And Captain Marvel was already a little bit outside the box in the sense that it is a female superhero. Now, young men will go see a female superhero. They will. Wonder Woman made a boatload of money at the box office. But Brie Larson suggests that America is a sexist, bigoted, terrible, homophobic place. And then she goes even further. She says that she doesn't care if white people go to see her movies because she's not going to take criticism from white people. She is a white woman.
Yeah, it's almost like it's hyperbole. Yeah, there's so much backlash against her. She did start saying some crazy stuff. And yeah, I get it. In the heat of the moment, you just get so much shit. And it's like, fuck it. If you guys are going to freak out, then fine. Don't see my movie. I mean, I kind of get it. Probably shouldn't have said that. But you know what? I kind of get it. In the heat of the moment, yeah.
Here she is going off, again, backing the woke narrative. And what this is really meant to do, seriously, what this is meant to do is provide cover. Because for people who are at least half clever, if they understand that the media is willing to provide cover for anyone who echoes the woke narrative, then the best thing to do is to echo the woke narrative, right? That way, if your movie is a bomb and it sucks, then they can just blame all of those terrible, no good, very bad boys. It's all those boys who wouldn't go see the movie because they were sexist. It's not that your movie was garbage. It's that these...
Yet you are the guys who weaponize the woke narrative all the time. If a movie sucks, you guys are like, oh, it's because of the fucking woke narrative. When the woke narrative is just an aspect of the fucking movie. If a movie sucks, a movie sucks. Judge the movie for its own merits. Woke narrative doesn't fucking mean anything.
These evil, terrible boys. It was... You remember, we did this with Lady Ghostbusters. Lady Ghostbusters is not a good movie. I'm not even a fan of the original Ghostbusters. Lady Ghostbusters is not a good movie. But because it was made with women...
Yeah, he's not a fan of the original Ghostbusters because he, for all his screenwriting and movie aspirations, does not understand good cinema.
And because it didn't do well at the box office, it turned into... Its non-success was not a referendum on the filmmakers. It was a referendum on America's deep sexism.
Yes, but there was that. But coming from your side, Ben, probably coming from your fucking mouth, I bet you I could dig up a video on this. I'm certain you were saying the movie bombed because they were trying to force woke values or some shit. I can guarantee you said that.
Well, Brie Larson is playing right into that. Here is Brie Larson actively alienating her chief audience, so that I guess later she can claim that it's not her fault when the movie, if and when the movie bombs.
Our industry
Yeah, the movie made over $1 billion. It did not bomb.
has gone through a major growth. We are expanding to make films that better reflect the people that buy movie tickets, but they are not allowed enough chances to read public discourse on these films by the people that these films were made for. I do not need a 40-year-old white dude to tell me what didn't work for him about A Wrinkle in Time. It wasn't made for him. I want to know what that film meant to women of color, to biracial women, to teen women of color, to teens that are biracial.
Oh, really?
I mean, I get what she's saying. She just is looking for alternate perspectives because, well, Wrinkle of Time wasn't good. It just wasn't. It was objectively bad. It's tough to judge anything as objectively bad in art, but Jesus Christ, Wrinkle in Time was really fucking bad. But yeah, she's just saying she wants alternate narratives, and, you know, she's saying it in a rather assertive way, and it's gonna give Ben Shapiro here ammunition and be like, oh my god, I'm so offended as a white guy. When will the white guy ever have his say?
Who does she think buys tickets in this country? Does she think that that when Disney sunk $100 million into A Wrinkle in Time, that they were looking to actively alienate 40-year-old men, who, by the way, who do you think is bringing their daughters to these movies? It's a bunch of 40-year-old guys. And when I'm 40, my daughter is going to be 10. Okay, I'm going to be the one bringing her to movies with people like Brie Larson. Does she
Jesus Christ, Ben Shapiro has kids? That's scary.
actually think that alienating people like me is going to be big box office? Of course not. She knows that. She's not completely dumb. But she also knows that the media are now going to lay the groundwork for the failure of her film. So if her film falls apart, if it's just a mediocrity, it's going to turn into America's a deeply terrible place. Now, what's hilariously unfalsifiable about this is that if Black Panther does unbelievable business, that is not proof that America is not racist. America is still racist, even if Black Panther does a bajillion at the box office and gets nominated for Best Picture despite being...
So I know this is before, but Jesus Christ, Ben, we saw in 2020, we saw George Floyd die for writing a bad fucking check. We saw Ahmaud Arbery. We saw Breonna Taylor. Probably more that I can't even think of. Yeah, no, racism doesn't exist, Ben, because Black Panther did really fucking well.
In my opinion, the fourth best comic book movie of the last year. America's still racist, even if Black Panther does well. But if Captain Marvel fails, it'll be because of American sexism. Therefore, we need...
It didn't fail.
Need more women empowerment. Therefore, AOC. That's how this math works. It's ridiculous. It's insipid. America's a pretty...
Yeah, Captain Marvel does well, therefore AOC? What the fuck are you talking about? What the fuck? Jesus Christ.
Pretty wonderful place. And ignorance is it should not be excused simply because the ignorant tends to support the woke narrative.
What was even his point there? I don't like Brie Larson because... reasons? Okay, we're going to check out this video here.
Recently, there's been quite a surge in the representation of women across all media, like movies and TV shows, including women at the helm of decades-old franchises. Even
in case you're wondering, the YouTube channel is Baggage Claim. This video has like 3 million views, 3.7 million, 140,000 subscribers.
Taking over roles that are traditionally held by men. And honestly,
We'll see what angle they take, because I've never heard of them.
fans have loved it. While it is a big change for everyone has respected the change and shown up in droves to support these new female heroes. No, I'm just kidding. Everyone hates it, and everyone is really damn pissed about it. And the reviews and box office numbers are just as bad as...
Audience scores. Audience scores. Number one, actually, Ghostbusters has a positive audience score on this example. This is not going well. Number one, audience scores don't mean anything. They can get bombed. Like Last Jedi and Captain Marvel, I know both suffered an actual campaign to drop them. So did Batwoman. Audience scores have become pretty fucking useless. I know people are like, oh, only audience score matters. No, honestly, only critic scores matter. Because you actually have to work to become a critic. Audience scores don't mean anything. And oh Oh my god. Does anybody else catch what they did? That's not the Ghostbusters 2016. I just automatically assumed that was Ghostbusters 2016. That's fucking Ghostbusters 2. Oh my god. Good work. Wow. Oh wow, this channel's gonna be a winner.
People say, no matter how much Rotten Tomatoes tries to convince us otherwise. But why? Well, it's probably because everybody hates women. Nope, that's not why. Turns out 50% of the population...
Yeah, I love the creation of strawmen. Strawmen are usually the easiest to tear apart. I love just create some strawmen and tear them apart.
...is female, and you know what? They're not going to see these movies or supporting these TV shows either. Is it because women hate women?
And I love that they got, obviously, a woman's voice to do this. Yeah, that way I can't criticize her because she's a woman. Yeah, if you're gonna say dumb shit, I'll still criticize
No, it's because these movies and TV shows are, spoiler alert, really bad. And that's what we're going to talk about today. The problem with...
Captain Marvel actually went for some stuff I brought up before, but it didn't quite plant the landing. It did okay. If you want to argue Captain Marvel's the worst thing in the world, you're wrong. It's fine. It's lower on the echelon of MCU movies. It's not the worst. It's definitely better than Thor: The Dark World. Definitely better than The Incredible Hulk. It just not perfect, but went for something cool. I think it just probably went for too much.
With the modern and very woke representation of women. Now, speaking as a woman of brownish color, I have to say that I don't...
Oh, I can't criticize her. Oh, wait, she's gonna say dumb shit, so I
really
can't.
See myself connecting with the new Batwoman, Rey Skywalker, the new female Doctor, the new Mulan, Captain Marvel, the Charlie's Angels, Harley Quinn, and especially not Commander Holdo, or as I like to call her, Purple Hair Lady from Star Wars. I just don't like any of these characters.
So stick to your post and follow my orders.
Oh god, especially not Commander Holdo. No, when I think of incredible badass women, I think of Black Widow, or Rita Vertasky from Edge of Tomorrow, and Zoe from Firefly. I think of Éowyn taking down the Witch King of Agmar in Lord of the Rings, and Wonder Woman walking into no man's land. This scene just gives me goosebumps. The reason I absolutely love...
Is this an official Fandango channel? Because I notice it has that logo. Is it an official Fandango channel, or did they just not take the effort to remove that? I bet you they're too lazy to take the effort to remove that. I bet you that Fandango is not behind this video.
Love these characters is because their ability is apparent, but oh so understated. Their gender is never brought up as a justification, excuse, or any sort of complaint. They're fully aware of their strengths and weaknesses and use other people's perceptions of their gender to their advantage. Like when Natasha Romanoff lets Russian gangsters think that they have her overpowered, when really she can easily break out whenever she wants. I like that these women fight for higher callings than themselves. They fight for peace or for justice, ultimate goal.
What does Captain Marvel do? I mean, that's the thing. They're making the case for these women, but not the other women. I mean, the only difference I can think of is maybe they advertise the wokeness more. Which, honestly, it's lots of times it's because these guys are cherry-picking. I remember seeing Megan Basham cherry-picking clips from Eternals behind the scenes where they're talking about, oh, the cast is so diverse. I've actually seen lots behind-the-scenes stuff for Eternals. It's mostly pretty standard stuff. A little bit here, but you're dealing with, like, a fraction of a percent of the behind-the-scenes stuff for Eternals. Most of it is just behind-the-scenes stuff that you get for most any movie. You gotta cherry-pick for that stuff. And so they cherry pick and complain about woke culture. I feel like they haven't gotten to a point. Just like women are good when in well-written movies and bad when in not as well-written movies. Okay, sure.
Isn't their own glory, but the triumph of good over evil.
I'm a soldier. I volunteered. I'm not walking away.
And I have to say that my absolute favorite thing about them is that they don't hate men. They don't feel threatened or put upon by the men around them. Instead, they form bonds with them and work with them shoulder to shoulder as equals. And their own power is not...
Was that a theme in Captain Marvel that she hates men? You gotta get to something here. Give me an example where they do a movie where they hate men.
Diminished in comparison. They're not here to destroy the patriarchy. They're here to do what's right. Now, the creators of these new female characters would probably say the same thing, that these characters are here to do the right thing and give young girls everywhere positive representations to look up to. But how have they done that? Well, let's look at the first mistake that woke feminism is making, and that is taking over existing male franchises. A few years ago, it was announced that...
Okay, so this was actually something I saw a video, I want to say Council of Geeks. Let me double check. Let me look up that YouTube channel. They did an excellent video on this. Yeah, let me bring it up on here. But if you are like, hey, why don't they just make new characters? And I do feel like there might be an argument there, but you have to watch this video and then see if you want to continue with that argument. Okay, it's this one right here. Diversifying superheroes. Why don't they just make new characters? Watch this video. I'm not going to play it on here, but it's excellent. It talks about how throughout the past 20 or 30 years, Marvel and DC have introduced a whole bunch of new characters. And literally the only ones in the past 20 years that have had any traction have been ones that have pretty much piggybacked on already established characters. New characters aren't really taking hold. And that's the reason why you're seeing things as they are now. Established IB characters are doing a whole hell of a lot better than anybody who's completely new. And it's an unfortunate fact. I wish we could make new characters and then we wouldn't have this issue. This would just be a dumb talking point. We couldn't make it. But we don't. We live in the world we have. You can't expect to make a new character completely fresh and have them take off. It's really tough, and it's not going to be something they're going to want to do. In a perfect world, that's what would happen. In a perfect world, yeah. If they could just make new characters of different diversities and have them take off, I'd be 100% behind don't change the race of the characters as already established. I'd be like, that's a good argument. Just make the new one. But the problem is new characters don't take hold. They have no traction. So this is what they do for diversity. And diversity by itself is not a bad thing. It's actually a good thing. Do you want to see a movie starring all white men? I don't. I don't want to see... I'm kind of sick of movies starring white men. And I'm a white man. I like to see more diversity because I'd like my children to have more characters they can attach to. I'd like more things to be normalized that just frankly aren't normalized. And I feel like it's also a dumb talking point to distract from some of the things serious in our society that we need to address. But we keep on getting dragged back into it. And because I'm in the media circles, I keep on hearing about all this garbage. Okay. Let's go back to the fucking... I don't want to go back to this video, but let's get it done. This is so bad. She hasn't gone to her goddamn arguments. I'm already like, fuck this.
That Doctor Who, a BBC program that has been a staple of British programming for the better part of the last 6 decades, would for the first time feature a female doctor. Now, to say that all the fans were against this would be just as inaccurate as saying that everyone was for it. People were intrigued about this new direction, but were worried that their favorite show would get the same treatment that Star Wars and Ghostbusters had gotten before it. Search male, replace with female, with a lethal dose of identity politics. You see, in recent years, the introduction of female-led media has not been simply
You see, I don't know how Doctor Who has been handled with the female lead. I was interested, but I'm not gonna lie, I kind of lost interest of Doctor Who during Capaldi. I tried to get through it, but I like the Tennant Smith and Eccleston stuff better. I just do. I think the idea of a female Doctor Who is actually very interesting. And it makes sense, especially now that we've established that the Doctor's gone through all of his lives and now he's essentially on extra lives. It makes sense that there might be more curveballs. So the idea of a female Doctor inherently isn't bad. Now, they might have written it poorly, and that's an entirely separate issue. And focus on the issue. Focus where it was written poorly. Don't focus on female Doctor bad.
nod to female empowerment and the opportunity to take stories into new and interesting directions. No, it's usually accompanied with some pretty heavy-handed reinforcement of about time, and this is what we all need. And while it can sound empowering,
and there's nothing wrong with that. It might be written poorly. Criticize the writing. Don't criticize it because there's a female lead.
It comes off as very self-congratulatory and self-aggrandizing and completely
Okay, that was literally just that's a couple seconds ago. There you go. This is a clip from fucking Charlie's Angels, the new Charlie's Angels. Why are you bringing this up? Charlie's Angels was always about women. Always. Are you suggesting maybe they should do a Charlie's Angels where it's 3 guys? I guess you could. 3 buff guys. There'd probably be a lot of women into that one.
It comes off as very self-congratulatory and self-aggrandizing and completely distracts from why people tune in every.
Does it? I don't get that. Lots of times it just feels like it's not particularly well written. I do feel like there might be an issue where like male writers overthink how to write a female character, because the problem is, okay, I'm going to tell you the secret to writing a female character. Don't tell anybody this is a secret. You write them the same as everybody else. The fact of having a vagina or a penis doesn't really mean a whole lot, because everybody's different in different ways. So, yeah, just write them the same. The parts they have under their pants are not going to come to play that often.
Week. The story and the characters.
Boring.
And this is the second mistake that woke feminism is making. It feels entitled to its success. Remember when Charlie's Angels was set to release a few years ago and people were doubting whether it would be a good movie?
Well, they didn't promote it at all. I just remember it just came out of nowhere and just kind of tanked. I didn't watch it. I just remember it coming out and being like, oh, that came out like 2 weeks ago. And I'm like, keep a track on movies. I didn't even notice when it came out.
And here's what the director Elizabeth Banks had to say about it.
My real plea is for men to have enough empathy to go see movies starring women. Because
oh my God, how could she?
I've been asked to go see movies starring men my entire life and happily have done so. And I don't know why men don't return the favor.
Now, female
So what's wrong with that? What's wrong with that statement? I see nothing wrong with that.
creators or male creators of female empowering shows might feel they're justified in their sense of entitlement of success, support, and loyalty from fan bases. But that doesn't mean that people are going to...
It's the same image. That's Ghostbusters 2. My God. Fuck.
give it to them. In fact, entitlement is often universally met with scorn and mockery. But of course, they don't think that they're being entitled. They think that they're asking for what they're due.
You think it's entitled for men to see a movie starring a woman? You think it's entitled for a woman to ask a man to see a movie starring a woman? That's not entitlement. That's just wanting things to be equal. What are you even defining entitlement as?
Oh wait, that is the definition of entitlement. But
no, it's not.
Energy they're spending on demanding success is the energy they're not spending where they need to. And this is the next mistake that woke feminism is making. The characters, these examples for young girls everywhere, well, they're not that great.
There you go. Focus on the writing, because the writing's the issue, because there are well-executed female characters and poorly executed female characters. Fun fact, there's also well-executed male characters and poorly executed male characters. It all has to do with the writing. It seems like the biggest thing you want to push is that they're advertising, which it's advertisers. They're just going to push an agenda that they think will get butts in seats. You might think it's obnoxious. I could argue it's a bit obnoxious, but it's advertising. You have an issue with the advertisement of the woke agenda? Heck, I could probably make a video on that. That can get obnoxious. But the actual, stuff starring women or featuring women or people of color more prominently, There's nothing wrong with that.
I need you to fix his suit.
The suit is literal perfection.
It will be. When it fits a woman.
Imagine the hubris of taking the work of someone else, Bruce Wayne in this situation, someone who battle-tested and designed something for themselves. Imagine strolling in and demanding that the suit be fixed to fit you, and that it is only perfect once it fits a woman who did nothing to earn it except be a woman. I'm sorry, am I supposed to connect with this behavior? Am I supposed to look at this and applaud this as a win and applaud?
It really feels like you're diving more into this. Obviously, she's Batwoman. She's based on a comic book character. Batwoman is a comic book character before the series was created. And yeah, she took on like a Batman-type persona. And obviously, she won't fit in the bat suit, so she's asking it be modified for her. I mean, it's kind of cringy. Like you're making a lot out of nothing, man.
Buy it into my own life? Am I supposed to barge into someone's office while they're out to lunch and demand that they swap out the name on the door? How about...
Okay, was Batwoman in the show like taking after Bruce Wayne? Batwoman CW series. The first season follows Kate Kane, a cousin of vigilante Bruce Wayne, who becomes Batwoman in his absence, beginning with the second season. Alright, in the first season, following the disappearance of Gotham City-based vigilante Batman, Kate discovers that her cousin Bruce Wayne was Batman and decides to follow in his footsteps by becoming her own vigilante, using her prior military skills, once coined Batwoman by the media, with the help of tech expert and former Wayne Enterprises employee Luke Fox, and her stepsister Mary Hamilton, who eventually discovers Kate as Batwoman. So Batman's missing, so like maybe he's supposed to be dead? That'd be weird, but like he's missing. So it's not like he's using the shit and she wants to continue with his, like, what's wrong with that? She's acting like he's out to lunch and he's taking it. No.
This scene from Doctor Who, where an MI6 official assumes the Doctor is a man. A fair assumption since the Doctor has been a man for many decades. Does the female Doctor handle it with grace, with maturity, and earn the respect of her audience as well as everyone around her?
I've had an upgrade. Hi.
Really? Really? Did you really need to put down every man that has come before you? Why do they need to kneel down for you to stand up? And that's the problem with these.
Well, that's the problem. He was putting her down by assuming that a woman couldn't be the Doctor. And what she's doing is kind of throwing it back in his face. How dare she, I know. I haven't even seen the fucking female Doctor Who. I haven't seen that episode she showed. And I could tell you from his stature in that little clip you showed me exactly why she did that. And it makes perfect fucking sense. If he's gonna put her down and be like, oh, the Doctor has to be a man, she's gonna be like, well, fuck you.
These characters, there is such a bitterness in them. They're not working for something bigger than them. They're driven by vengeance and anger.
I'm not about to let a man take credit for a woman's work.
Okay, but you just took credit for Batman's work. So that's okay. This antagonistic behavior.
See, I haven't seen Batwoman, so yeah, it does sound a little cringe, but yeah, whatever.
Assumes that we just hand over success to men simply for being men. By that logic, no male-led movie ever does badly, and no male character is ever...
See, that's the thing. She's bringing up like stuff like Batwoman, and it's like, it might just be poorly written. Woman in lead is not bad.
Criticized or disliked. That would mean that Solo, a movie about a well-known, beloved male character, should have done well, but it didn't. I can't believe...
Please, no one was interested in Solo, and it wasn't really the reviews. As I recall, the reviews, like, they just posted there, assuming they got the right thing, because Jesus.
Beloved male character should have done well, but it didn't.
Yeah, those are like Luke, but positive reviews. It's the box office for Solo that did very poorly, but I guess going to Box Office Mojo for your screen cap's a bit too much extra work.
I can't believe I need to say this, but success needs to be earned. But woke feminism thinks that if you don't like these characters, then you are a sexist. This is the next mistake of woke feminism. There is no such thing as legitimate criticism. No, any criticism of these totally incredible characters must be born out of bitter jealousy.
There is actually legit criticism of these characters. But it's not woman bad. You're making blanket statements.
And a deep desire to keep women down. That if you dislike a female character, it's because she possesses power, and we are more comfortable with seeing women in subservient positions. Even we women who criticize them don't apparently realize the years of brainwashing we've undergone that has told us that the woman's place is one step behind the man, if not in the kitchen. On to the next mistake that
there is a lot of brainwashing in our society. I mean, it's not like you're treating it like it's like some sort of like evil conspiracy when it's just kind of culturally built in. There's nothing wrong with trying to break those norms. Again, if it's poorly written, attack it for being poorly written. Like, it seems like Batwoman might be actually fairly poorly written from the clips she shows. That being said, she is purposely showing the worst stuff. The Doctor Who clip was not a good example.
Woke feminism makes its unshakable belief that it is saving society, that men would be
Really? It's still just a movie. I don't think they're assuming that.
Bigoted toxic fools if woke feminists weren't putting them in their place, and that women would be helpless, knitting by the fire and weeping into their handkerchiefs, wondering when the men would be home. That young
But yet you complain when they don't do that. Jesus.
Women everywhere would have no role models without woke feminism, born out of yet another flawed belief that you need to see exactly yourself on screen, someone who has your skin color, your background in order to connect with them.
No, you can empathize with anybody, but it is actually easier if they do match your physical appearance a bit. It's a human brain thing. It simply is. You can argue against it if you want, but it's true. And what would be your argument? Let's just have everything star white guys because we can empathize with them? What the fuck point is that?
But that's not how human beings work, and that's not how imagination works. Regardless, more female representation on screen is a good thing, and feminism has
thank you.
been doing a great job on that front for many decades now. That is until woke feminism.
It has? I mean, there are good examples, but like, what, you have like a half dozen examples from like the past 30 years? Jesus.
Came out of nowhere, punched traditional feminism in the gut, and said it was here to save it. Remember when Captain Marvel came out and made $1 billion at the box office, and everyone was like congratulating Brie Larson, and she was like, guys, women can be leads in movies just like men, jeez. I think what drives me crazy about this is that there is absolutely no acknowledgement of the past, as if Sarah Connor did not terminate the Terminator and Ripley did not destroy the alien, as if
So, in order for a movie to be successful, in order for a movie with a female lead to be successful, it has to appreciate every single movie with a female lead before it? What? So, like, when Iron Man's successful, he has to thank fucking, not even X-Men. Maybe he has to thank fucking, Excalibur and fucking James Bond and... What the fuck, man?
If these women didn't decades ago dominate the box office as badass action heroes. Strong female characters have been speaking well for their gender far longer than the woke feminists would have you believe.
Oh my god, Watch Mojo logo. If you can't clip out the logo, fucking actually get the fucking movie clip. Don't be lazy.
But there's one clear difference between the two types of representations. These females coming onto the screen weren't perfect superheroes. No, they had shortcomings, and they were up against insurmountable odds. And they fought back, they learned, they grew, and when they overcame the enemy, we saw ourselves in them and believed that we too could overcome everything that scares us. Well, what about the female characters of today? They're either completely perfect or other times they're rude, arrogant, and entitled, and tend to stay that way.
You're making a gross generalization. There are absolutely fine female characters made today. I notice you're not bringing up clips from Mad Max Fury Road because Furiosa was a great female character. You're just bringing up the ones that everybody always likes to criticize, the easy cannon fodder. You go back in time, you could find some really cringy female characters, I'm sure. Alright, yeah. You want an example of a bad female character? Fucking Willie from Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. Throughout history, there have been good and bad female characters. Just like now, there's well-written and poorly written female characters. You have to take them both individually and criticize them individually. You're just putting this blanket statement on them all as if they're all the fucking same, and they're not. They all have their own issues. Ghostbusters 2016, it's not the worst thing. It's not that funny. It has its moments, but it's not the worst thing. I don't actually think Admiral Holdo's that bad. She's not written to be a character you really sympathize with. She's written to be like the authority character from a distance. She's keeping her plans from Poe, but that's because she, doesn't view Poe as part of the group and she doesn't want to leak what her plans are. And you might be like, oh, well, she shouldn't do that. And honestly, looking back, yeah, she probably shouldn't. But she doesn't know that at the time. Yeah, you just take each character as they come because they're all different and criticize them on the points where they're poorly written, not criticize them because women bad now. Because what? Everybody be a white guy? I know I've said that before, but that seems to be where you're going to. Everybody just needs to be a fucking white guy, and fuck that. As a white guy, I don't want that.
You're a female Bruce Wayne.
Awesome, hilarious, handsome.
Most commonly, we associate these traits with brash men.
Big man in a suit of armor. Take that off. What are you?
Genius, billionaire, playboy, philanthropist.
I know guys with none of that worth 10 of you.
If our main hero possesses these traits, then it's almost guaranteed that it will be their undoing. That is, until they learn some much-needed humility. The reason the Marvel franchise was so incredibly successful was because at the heart of it was the transformation of two men. Captain America started off as an idealistic, selfless servant to his country, but eventually learned the tiny amount of selfishness needed for him to actually live his life and be happy. Tony Stark...
Wait, is that what you took away from Captain America's arc? I mean, he doesn't have a huge arc in those movies. He kind of learns that he needs to be honest and talk to people. But yeah, Tony has a huge arc in those movies. Captain America, he has to take a little bit of selfishness now, but he gets to retire.
Went from a hedonistic, self-serving playboy constantly impressed by his own genius to a man who found meaning and paid the ultimate price to preserve it. People could connect with these heroes, see themselves in their struggles, and believe that they too could rise from their errors and achieve greatness. But the modern female woke hero doesn't get this traditional hero's journey. Mulan is no longer...
If it's poorly written, they don't. If it's well written, they do. Criticize the writing. Female character bad is not a fucking critique. It's sexism.
Longer a scared girl, taking up arms for the first time in order to protect her elderly father, earning her place in the army and earning the respect of everyone around her. No, in the new version, Mulan has always had chi flowing through her, and she was always meant to be the greatest warrior of all time.
Yeah, and the new Mulan sucks. What's your point?
What's holding her back is society's expectation that a woman should not fight.
Okay, so there's lots of issues with Mulan. Lots of issues, and I don't recall the main character being a Mary Sue being one of them. It's just lots of issues. If you're focusing on the female Mary Sue, maybe that's a you issue.
And to be the greatest warrior of all time. What's holding her back is society's expectation that a woman should not fight. Captain Marvel is the most powerful...
I can actually see that being a good story. Now, Mulan's not good. That live-action Mulan sucks. Well, I can see that working.
Avenger.
There's no competition for me because I'm the strongest, so it's just kind of like a...
And what's holding her back? I guess her desire for her mentor's approval? I guess? And
what's holding her back is the fucking Kree implants are suppressing her powers. Did you watch the fucking movie?
She overcomes that easily.
Prove to me!
Yeah, she takes him out and then she can easily beat him up because she's way more powerful. Did you watch the movie?
You can beat me with that!
Now Ray is, well...
I mean, Captain Marvel has its issues, but Jesus Christ, did you even watch the movie, or are you just going, oh, everybody's bashing on Captain Marvel, so I'll bash on it? Fucking watch the fucking movie before you critique it. No wonder you can't get clips. You didn't fucking watch.
Perfect. Without a day of training, she can mind control guards and pick up a lightsaber and kick Kylo Ren's butt. She's amazing. She can...
Okay, this always drives me nuts. Okay, so Kylo Ren is injured. Lots of people want to forget that. He took a shot with a fucking bowcaster right before that fight. He is not in top form. And it was a cool scene. Yeah, the sequel trilogy has issues, and they should have done more to evolve the characters. But that was a cool scene.
Can save the day. What a queen. What a bunch of queens. Slaying all day, doing epic backflips and shit. Like, who cares?
But here's the thing. If it was a guy doing it, you'd be like, oh, you know, isn't that a cool guy? You'd be like, oh, isn't that guy badass? They're doing all this shit. But a woman does it. Oh, God, why are you having the woman do it? Jesus Christ. If the writing's bad, critique the writing. I'm such a broken record on this. Critique the writing. Critique the execution. Just being a female character is not an issue.
Look, I want a woman to save the day. I like that just as much as I like the man saving the day. But is it too much to ask that it be earned? That the powers in a...
I don't know. Is it too much to ask if you put up proper screen caps of Rotten Tomatoes, that you look up Box Office Mojo, that you actually grab film clips instead of constantly leaving in logos from shit? Is it too much to ask that you do that?
Abilities aren't just handed to these characters, but that they work at them. They hone their skills, suffer defeats that they learn from, and meditate on losses, and come back.
Yes, these are writing issues. Critique the writing. Critique the writing of Captain Marvel, which I'm not even confident you saw.
Stronger than ever. And can these women suffer consequences when they behave in terrible ways? Like in The Last Jedi, when Commander Holdo does not share with her team what the plan is for saving the last...
No. She shares it with her team. She doesn't share it with Poe, who is not a part of her team. Did you watch the fucking movie?
Of the rebellion. Instead, when a male subordinate asks her what the plan is, she immediately insults him.
Before we can find a new base, so what's our plan?
Our plan, Captain? Not Commander, right? Wasn't it Leia's last official act to demote?
Yeah. Did you watch? She demoted him and then she was out. So she's assuming this guy's like nobody and possibly in trouble for something big, which is a logical conclusion.
She assumes that because he's a man, he is not entitled to communication. The rebellion...
No, she assumes because he was recently demoted, he's not entitled to communication. You just played the fucking clip.
Is this close to being extinguished? He's not here to have a pissing match with you. He wants to be useful.
But she doesn't know who she can trust because things can go awry very quickly. She's trying to save who she can. Oh, did you even watch the fucking movie?
Of course you do. I understand. I've dealt with plenty of trigger-happy flyboys like you. You're impulsive, dangerous, and the last thing we need right now. So stick to your post and follow my orders.
This is not good leadership. This is childish behavior. Expecting...
Oh, okay, so he was recently demoted, so it kind of makes sense. That being said, yes, it was a mistake on her part not to sheriff him. And she sacrifices herself to make sure the mission goes off well. She faces a cost for doing the dumb thing. Did you watch the fucking movie? She gets the hero's death. But she did a dumb thing, and that's why the hero's death is called for. It's a redemption.
That your team should follow you blindly, and if they don't, it's because of their toxic masculinity.
In military, that is kind of how it's built in. That is a military thing. You're supposed to follow orders.
And you know what? She dies a hero. And everyone's like, hooray! We should always believe women, even when they're being terrible leaders. Okay,
Oh my god, it's a redemption arc. Do you understand
Hollywood
story
come up
writing?
with a better villain than just society? That society doesn't believe in our female...
Hey, society is a pretty good fit lots of times. I don't see an issue with that. You just gotta execute it well. Lots of times it's not executed
hero,
well.
So that's why she's not achieving greatness. I know it's supposed to represent the struggles of women today, but believing in yourself is just one of the aspects needed for success. You know why I loved the first Wonder Woman movie? Because despite Diana being literally a god killer, she isn't just an instant warrior. No, she works at it. She trains hard with incredible female warriors and takes falls and hard hits, but learns and grows. So when we finally see her kick some German butt, we revel in it, because she's worked through blood, sweat, and tears to get that good. But what about in the second movie? Well, they undo all that. They show a 10-year-old Diana easily besting women 3 times her age and ultimately losing because of a minor detail. So...
Alright, so she's besting women because she is half god. None of the other women are half god there. She is actually half god. And bested because of a minor detail? Yeah, she essentially cheated. That was about what the movie was. Listen, Wonder Woman 84 has its issues. My opinion on it has tamed a little bit. I still like it. I still think it's underrated. The whole point of the intro is to establish that the easy way out is almost never the correct way out. Just because you can do something easy doesn't mean you should do it.
She's been magic the entire time? Why did she need to train as hard as she did in the first movie?
Did you miss that she's been magic the entire time? They established that in the first movie. Did you? Are you watching these movies? Or are you just looking at like fucking video clips? Jesus Christ!
As a teenager and as an adult, the problem
she is literally
with these
magic.
Perfect princesses is that it's impossible to connect with them. That's not me. I'm not perfect. I'm not born with magic that makes me able to air kick spears at the enemy. Sorry. And if the lesson here is that every woman has innate abilities they're born with that are being squashed because of society's restrictions, well, that's just a terrible lesson, because we're telling women that we have nothing.
You know, she complains about the air kick there, but how often do you see a man do something like that crazy? It's not uncommon.
To learn. We're born with everything we're capable of being, and we should only trust and listen to women, and men, they're just interested in sex and keeping you down.
Well, I mean, if that's the moral you want to take, go for it. But, you know, if men are going to be sexist, then yeah. If men aren't going to be sexist, then fine. God damn it, I'm a broken record. Critique the individual movie's writing. If it's a bad movie, critique that.
I guess my question here is, what are woke feminists after? Are they working for equality? If so, why does it seem like all their TV shows and movies are all about putting men down and propping women up as perfect?
Back to normal, am I? The only time I've been a man, that last body. Dear Lord, how do you cope with all that ego?
And if they are for equality, why oh why are they pushing the worst lesson for women possible? That women don't need to be criticized. There is so much growth.
Is that what they're pushing? Is that what they're pushing? I feel like you're forcing that one a bit. I need an example.
That happens when we are criticized. Yes, not all criticism we get in our lives is legitimate. Sometimes it's born from jealousy or fear, but criticism is necessary for growth, for change, for us to adapt, and for us to excel. Telling women that you don't need to grow, you don't need to change, the world owes you success, the world needs to accommodate you, that you can be arrogant, you can assume that every man in your life is a sexist bigot, and if they challenge you, well, it's because they want to keep you down. It's almost as if woke feminists don't want us to be the best versions of ourselves, but instead be the worst versions of men. Like all the bad things we accuse men of being: arrogant, bigoted, or disagreeable. I think Brie Larson is a great example of this. She is the true embodiment of woke feminism.
I did my stunts because I thought that that's what everyone did, and then...
Tom Cruise, I mean?
No, I want to be the first me, not the next Tom Cruise. Thank you very much.
Well, you know, I mean, he does his own stunts, you know.
As someone who is at the top of her career, Brie Larson doesn't take the opportunity to give credit to the unsung heroes of...
That's the thing. I've seen in lots of interviews, she doesn't really present well, and that's also a part of our society. When women are like that, God, society jumps on them so harshly, whereas men can be like that, and nobody really seems to care. It's an issue.
Of movie making like her stunt double, but instead needs to tell everyone just how awesome she is.
Work at being the best person that I can be and using this platform for as much as I can, but doesn't mean...
Is that like a personal attack?
Okay, the little bit I actually saw there seemed like she was saying good stuff, but you did the whole Hello Darkness meme, so I don't know what your point is.
In closing, this is not feminism. This is toxic femininity. But what do I know? I'm probably the byproduct of years of brainwashing by the patriarchy. Thank you for tuning in, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a like and give me a subscribe and share with someone else who might enjoy it as...
Okay. Nope. No like, no subscribe. I apologize. But Jesus. I mean, everybody wants to assign, like, I'm getting sick of this shit too. It's all over. Women bad because, oh God, I just realized whoever this is has a goddamn Jordan Peterson video. Anyways. Here's a crazy fact that I've noticed. It seems like the ratio of good movies to bad movies over the years is about the fucking same. The only difference is right now they're trying to push more female-led movies, more people of color-led movies. So when they get pushed out, more of these movies will be bad because that's how that works. And it doesn't mean it's bad because of that, because bad movies still fucking exist. Bad movies are still very much a thing. This is obnoxious. Baggage claim. 150,000 subscribers. Jesus. I'm not even sure how many of those movies she actually saw, because she saying story points, and she was like, she would play the clip, and it's like, I can tell you what's going on in that scene. How do you not pick it up? Oh, that was bad. I'm sick of this argument, the woke agenda. I'm sick of it, but especially in media, people keep on bringing this shit up, and I am so just kind of done with it, but gotta get these people to shut up somehow. Refute their claims, I guess.
They think order and chaos are somehow opposites and try to control what won't be.
I used to fuck guys like you in prison.